Alright guys, so here's our second video. This one's going to be going over everything from side control as far as escapes, and again, your basic submissions that you can do from side control. So, starting off with escapes, Danielle's got me in side control. And again, just like we were talking about in mount, I should never have my feet flat. My feet should be up and my knees are up, my feet flat on the floor. First thing I need to do is establish a frame for what I need. So this arm moves in other side of her neck. This arm is going to wedge in. It might take some finagling to get in the beginning because she should be holding it nice and tight with no space. So it takes a little bit of moving, but I wedge this arm in tight against her hip, okay? This arm here is very important. This keeps her from closing the gap back on me for when I eventually move to create space, okay? Once I've got my frame, I'm going to shrimp away from her body, basically getting my butt away from her, and I'm gonna look to put my inside leg, this leg, my knee right across her hips to where my shin and my knee are right across where the belt would be or her hips would be. So I'm here, I shrimp, and I get as tiny as I can, okay? I get as small as I can. I keep my frame because that keeps her from smashing into me, but I keep my knee in nice and tight so she can't push into me. Once I get my frames all nice and locked in, I start moving my head away from her and straightening out my body. Now if they're wearing a gi, you have a nice grip here, but I'm gonna look to get myself into guard, something like this, okay? And then we can go into some different submissions from there. So that's your kind of primary escape from side control. Now this other one, it works. I don't always have the greatest success with it, but it does work. And it's a little nifty. It is nifty. So she's got me in side control. Again, I established my frame on the other side of her head. Now, this arm changes. This arm is going to be like the last one and kind of act like what my knee was doing. So I kind of get my arm in there and I create space because I'm going to shove it all the way under to where it pokes out the other side here. Now, once I'm here and I keep her hips where she can't push into me, I'm going to push her up just like this, and I'm going to swing my legs this way, kind of like I'm trying to make my feet touch my head, okay? So I'm going to push and swing my legs. And I spin myself out, just like that. So, those are 2 escapes for working out of side control. Next, we're gonna go to submissions. All right, so now we're gonna go over the submissions from side control. First one we're gonna start off with is for the adults, just because it's a little more of a complicated shoulder lock. So we've got our side control and all this fun stuff. I wanna make sure I'm kind of high up into her armpit, not down here by her hips. So I'm gonna like shimmy myself. So I'm like almost trying to squish her inside arm between my hips. Okay. This hand is gonna stay under. I'm gonna force this hand down, grip with the wrist, and get a figure 4 style lock here. Okay, like I'm going for an Americana. But I can't get the Americana from here because I don't have the leverage because of where my hand is. This is where it gets a little deceptive. Once I get this, I'm going to regrip as best I can and shove her other hand into my far hand here. Okay? I'm sorry. Get to at least there. This hand is now going to grab her armpit to help isolate and lift her head From here, I take this hand and I just bend it and try and paint the floor with it. So it does the same action as an Americana or a Kimura, but my setup's just a little different and a little more complicated. So real quick again, I've got like an Americana grip. I'm going to abandon that grip, regrip with my inside hand here, regrip to the armpit, force her hand down. All right, so now we're gonna go into our other 4 basic submissions that we've been working on for the kids. First one we got is the Americana. If she's defending like she should be, kind of trying to hug me and give me a pull over or something like that, the hand that is closest to where my kind of head would be, I'm gonna shove that down to the floor. So here, boom, I get it down to the floor. Once I've isolated this hand, I'm gonna bring this hand out from under her head, grab her wrist, put my elbow to the ground, okay? This hand comes underneath her arm, grabs my own wrist again, just like we did in mount. Elbow close to her ribs, paint the floor, okay? Now we're gonna go to the Kimura. So again, for the Kimura, we're working off of if they defended against the Americana. So she shoved her hand down to her hips and like ripped it out. Boom, she's got it down here. I isolate her wrist here. I'm going to push it up as much as I can. Feed my hand under her tricep, under her arm, to my wrist. Now, I don't have leverage to pull her arm out, so I have to lift her body up just a little bit. The way I can do that is I need to switch my hips. So this leg goes this way towards, I lift her up, and I'm able to get that lock, okay? So you've got, there's your Americana, there's your Kimura. All right, so we've gone over the Americana, we've gone over the Kimura. Now we're gonna move to the armbar, okay? I'm just gonna get it over with. So again, I've got my side control. You know, if her hand's up here, that's fine. I'm gonna take this hand and I'm gonna pinch it, pulling it up towards me, okay? I'm gonna pinch this arm so I can isolate it. I'm gonna roll her onto her side, straighten your arm out. Again, I'm keeping this pinched here. This knee goes onto her hip, okay? Yeah, good. Once I'm here, I need to take my outside leg and swing it around the other side of her head, okay? Now, ideally you would keep your weight on top of your opponent to keep them pinned to the ground. I'm gonna be nice to Danielle.
I won't move.
And pull my weight up. Now, you shouldn't post your hand down to the floor, but again, I'm being nice, okay? My leg comes up, I come around, I fall down, okay? You want to either be fully on the side or up at this angle, up at her armpit. On the side of her shoulder is fine. My leg is close to her head. My heel pulls into me. This one I keep on her ribs. Again, my knees should be pinched close together. Her thumb pointed towards the ceiling. I pull her wrist down to my stomach to create tension, and then I just lift with my hips. And that gets the arm bar. All right. And for our final one, we're gonna move into the choke, and we're gonna work on what's called a baseball choke. Fun little thing. So, I have my side control. My hand that's under her head. I'm gonna put my thumb right in the inside of the jacket, right here, and I grab that material. Now, I'm gonna bring myself up onto my knee. I'm gonna take this hand, take my 4 fingers, and put it inside the jacket right on top of my other hand. This is where the name comes in because it's just like holding a baseball bat. Okay? I keep my hands right on top of one another. Notice how one arm should be laying across my opponent's neck. Once I'm here, I'm going to drop my arm down and I'm going to move my head and my body around her head. So I'm here, I move myself around, I keep myself in nice and tight here, boom, put my head forward and squeeze, okay? I wanna make sure I keep my grip. Like I said, this is where the name comes from because it's just like a baseball bat. Under, over, neck, to where her head should be almost like it's in a vise. Okay? So I've isolated it, I bring it around, I crunch everything down. Sorry. So there is all the submissions from your side control. You've got kind of like your inverted Americana shoulder lock, you've got the actual Americana, your Kimura, your armbar, your baseball choke. Yep. That's all of them for you guys.